stops the vehicle effectively. So as far as the body goes, this is one spot here that I know needs some attention. It was doing that probably when I got it, but I've never done any body work, so it's rusted under there. But they make patch panels just for this part of it, so that definitely would need to be done. But everything else actually seems to be pretty solid. You can see at one point they must have done some body work on this side already, because there's this tape line on the door. Oh, and so the driver's side floor pan had been rusted out, so I actually cut that out and welded in a new one, and then painted the whole floor with some kind of special paint that I got from Eastwood. I can't remember what the deal was, but I had to use this metal ready etch primer and all this stuff. So that whole floor pan is in pretty good shape at this point. This came with some buckets that weren't even right for the car, so I actually had gotten the bench with the fold down armrest to put in here, which I actually prefer having that armrest. It wasn't the right color, but I was redoing the entire interior anyway. It does have power windows. They do work, but one of those on the other side seems to want to come off the track, so that would be something that you'd have to take a look at. I have all the different parts that you could put back in here to put the whole interior back together, but most of them are faded from the sun and all that, so you'd want to redo the interior from scratch, I would think, to make it look really nice. But I certainly would send along any of the parts that I have. So let's see what else. So we'll start it here in a minute, but I'll just keep going. So on the rear here, there is a little bit of a dent right here. That one certainly looks like it could just be pulled. Somebody had suggested that there might be some, yeah, it looks like there probably is some Bondo or something in this back corner right here. So, and that trim piece certainly doesn't look ideal at this point. But like I said, to really make it right, you would want to go through the entire interior and the body. But mechanically, it's pretty much ready to go. Yeah, so there were 442 emblems all over it, which it's not really a 442. So that one was taken off. I think I have that in the trunk. I think you can actually resell those 442 emblems for quite a bit. Probably should have shot that with some primer too, but it seems to be all surface rust. There's a few rust spots there too. But for the most part, everything seems pretty solid. Oh, it looks like there's a dent, a little dent here, a dent here. Let's see here. So there's a dent on this back panel here that also seems like it could pretty easily be pulled. And then you ought to see this white on the side here. There's some white right there, a little bit right there, and then on the front, that scraped that on the edge of the garage pulling in and out. But I don't believe I've caused any damage to the panels. I could buff that off of there, but I thought I'd just show you the way it is. And so I would imagine on this side it's not as bad, but you got the same kind of thing wanting to rust right here. These little patch panel on both sides would be the thing to do. This is busted off of here. It was like that when I got it, but you can get the lens for it. And what else? So it looks like you probably need to replace this because it's cracked and it's not under the bumper the way it is. But actually both bumpers are in good shape. Probably would want to re-chrome them, but they're the way they need to be. So that's the whole part of it. That's pretty much of a work in progress. But This is the part that's pretty much done. That air cleaner is could be taken off of there and cleaned up and made to look a little prettier, but the entire engine compartment is in real good shape. I pulled the engine, had a rebuild. I think they only had to bore it maybe 10 or 15 over to true up the cylinder walls. It's got the correct number 5 heads and the correct intake for a 68 old, so it's got the divorce choke. I don't know if you can see that very easily with the air cleaner on there, but you'll see that under there. So that's kind of a 68, 69, a little bit of a rarity with the divorce choke on there. I wanted to make sure that was correct, because that certainly identifies the vehicle. So when they had the engine pulled, they completely sandblasted the whole engine compartment and painted everything black. The guy did a really nice job on the rebuild. I was quite happy with that, and it probably only has a couple 100 miles on it, because since it's been rebuilt, all I've really been doing is starting it in the driveway for the most part, and then once a month or so giving it a spin. So and they rebuilt the transmission while they were at it as well, and the radiator. So mechanically it's in. So it's got the Rochester 4-barrel carburetor on it, and I don't know how savvy you are with them, but it's a great carb once you get it dialed in right, but it's definitely a little temperamental as to exactly how you so that if you're good with that, you could probably get this thing dialed in a little bit better than it is. But I'm certainly not an expert at that. So there it is, just idling nicely. And like I said, when I do take it out on the road, if you stomp on it, it definitely, so it downshifts and the 4-barrel opens up and it takes off pretty good. So I never really had any intention of, souping it up and trying to, race it, stuff like that. But it's got power. This is more of a stock rebuild. That's what I was more interested in. But I think the normal build on this is rated at 310 horsepower or something. And so with it being bored a little bit over, it's probably got a little bit more than that. But I don't know how well you're hearing this. Oh, these pipes here to connect the air cleaner up. That's kind of just a fix. I think there are actual special parts that were designed to go straight from there to the breather hole, which if you found them, they would certainly be great for authenticity. But I could never locate one online or anywhere, so I've just got that hooked up with a hose. But I think there's a special pipe or something. So I don't know what else to show you. Like I said, I think it's a great start on a restoration.